What's up? Hope everybody's doing good today. Out here in the wild wilderness at our house, excited about that. We live out in the country, so love it, man. It's beautiful out here. You can see the sun shining and kind of some of our property here. But yeah, I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about seasons changing and what that means, and some ways that we can consider. I don't know, ways to use it to our advantage a little bit. Sometime in the church world, we say, it's not the right season, it's not the right time, and sometimes we can use that almost as an excuse to put things off, right? And we don't mean to, but it just is what it is. But with seasons changing right now, we just moved out of, I guess you'd call it autumn into fall, out of that into, we're getting into winter. So we've hit a couple of seasons back to back to back. And I want, one thing that I've noticed is you can see some things on the ground, some leaves, right? Whenever seasons change, sometimes it causes things to die, right? I think that's important to remember. Seasons changing doesn't always mean that it's time to plant or time to harvest. Sometimes it means it's time for things to die, and it's time for things that need to go away. They need to fall off. They need to get away from us. And we take that as sometimes as a bad thing or even as a scary thing, but really it's just an opportunity for letting things to be let go. It's an opportunity for us to see what in our life needs to be let go, what in our life maybe has been holding us back or weighing us down. All of these leaves that are falling at one time had a weight to them because they were holding the trees down and they had let the branches be low. All those things are just so important when we consider it. But as the seasons begin to change, what are things in our lives that need to die? What are the things that need to let go? One of the things to remember is when things die, it also creates a fertilizer for the new growth season, right? The new period. A lot of times in gardening and farming, you'll till under. You'll till under all the old crops and plants, and they'll next year be what will actually support and supply nutrients for the new stuff, right? So just something to consider as seasons begin to change in our world and in our life is, maybe it's time to look at some things and say, what in my life needs to go away? What are some things? We do this a lot of times at New Year's, at New Year's, a lot of times we'll make resolutions, right? You'll say, oh, I want to do this or that or whatever. And I don't know, it's a tradition and that's okay. But we don't need a new year in order to come up with a new opportunity to grow and to be better just as people, right? So some of the things in my life that I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to kill off and allow to die that will begin to fertilize the things next year is I'm creating more margin in my life. I'm creating more margin for time, more margin for rest. Work has never been my problem. I've always been a good worker and a hard worker. I'll do 18, 20 hours a day sometimes if I need to, and I have no problem with that. And it's brought my family a beautiful life, and we've been, we carry the favor of God with us, I believe. And because of that, not necessarily just because of that, but one of the reasons I believe the Lord knows He can trust me with the work and the time. So work has never been my problem, but rest has. And so this year I'm going to hopefully create more margin. I've been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning the last couple of weeks and going to the gym, trying to get rid of the gut, trying to get rid of the man boobs, right? So trying to get in health and get some good shape. But some of the things in my life that need to die in order for that to happen are complacency. I need to let complacency die and kill it off, because if I get complacent and I get to be okay with where I am, then you generally fall backwards. When you're complacent, you generally don't stay where you are. You begin to fall back and slip back. And it's not because we mean to, it's just because if you're not moving forward and you begin to stand still, then a lot of times you fall backwards and you move back. So I don't want that in my life. It's not that I got to keep pressing through and pushing hard to see growth. But part of my growth this year, just for me specifically, is going to be breathing more and resting more. And this season in my life, there's short-term seasons, long-term seasons, things like that. I'm a big believer of that, and I'm a big fan of that. It creates opportunity, and I'm a big evaluation kind of guy. I like to look forward and look behind and look inside and see what are things in me that need to grow and do. And that's some of the stuff that I'm looking at. So hopefully you'll take some of these seasons changed and realize that, look on the ground. So we got a bald spot right here. Hopefully some of these leaves will die and decompose and cause us to have some grass next year. So I hope that you'll find some things in your life that, one, maybe have been holding you back and been weighing you down that need to let go of, and two, some things that do need to die off in order for you to be fertilized for next year. God created us out of the fertile soil of the ground. He knew that we were going to create, and we were going to birth things and ideas and visions, and I'm excited for all those things, and I hope that you guys are too. And all the stuff in the world is going to keep happening. There's nothing that you can do today to change the economy. There's nothing that you can do today to change the price of food and groceries. There's nothing you can do today to change any of that, right? Nothing. There's nothing you do. Maybe you run for Congress, you run for Senate, and that's wonderful. Still don't mean you're going to change it, right? So instead of being reactive to all the things that are happening, begin to get proactive and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow these things to take my peace. I'm not going to allow these things to steal my joy. I'm not going to allow these things to cause me into fear and put me into concern and worry. I'm not going to allow these things to happen because I know that I'm going to be taken care of. We may not be able to eat the same meals that we've been having for the last 6 months, a year, 6 years, whatever, but we are going to be able to eat. We may not be able to have steak every night, but we're going to be able to eat. We may not be able to have the same vegetables that we've always had, but we're going to be able to eat. And look at that moving forward and saying, hey, this new season is one that, it's okay to compromise some of the things that you do in order to grow. That's completely all right. Dave Ramsey says, you need to live like nobody else today so you can live like nobody else tomorrow. So I'd encourage that, is be willing to make some of the sacrifices and some of those things that need to change in order to grow in the new season that you're about to step into. And don't look at it as it's that far off. Look at it as, hey, it starts today. Today is that new season. Today is that new time to grow. Today is the new time. If you keep putting it off and you keep saying, oh, well, it's not the right time, it's not the right time, it's not the right time, sometimes the right time is when you take the first step. Maybe that's the right time. Even Jesus, when he was at the wedding, he said, Mary said, they need to listen to you. And Jesus said, woman, it's not my time. And she said, yeah, listen to him anyway and go do what he says. So she called it out of him. Even Jesus was like, no, it's not the right time. But he needed his mama to push him a little bit, to help him say, hey, it is the right time. You're good. It's the right season. Do it. She saw it in him, right? So be encouraged today. Be excited about all the things that are coming. And, bad things happen constantly. That's just part of it. But it doesn't mean that that's got to rule your life, guys. It does not mean that that's got to hold you back and depress you constantly. Adversity comes, and adversity is not a bad thing. It causes growth. But whenever you allow adversity to weigh you down and cause depression and anxiety and stress, then you've lost. Even if you win a battle, you've lost the war, right? Winning a battle against, having a good day or having a good couple of minutes, those are what wins a war. If you're in anxiety, if you're in depression because of things that you see in the news, it's okay to turn the news off. You not knowing what's going on in Iraq is not going to hurt your life. You not knowing what's going on over in Ukraine is not going to hurt your life. None of those things are going to hurt you. It's okay for you to not understand what's happening over there. It's completely okay. If that's causing you concern and stress, back away from it. It's not going to matter. What's happening within your household, your living room, is what matters every single day to you. And the season of life that we're stepping into, where things are beginning to die and things are going away, maybe that's one of the things in your life that needs to die. Maybe you don't need to be as connected to the internet as you normally are. Maybe you don't need to be on social media as much as you normally are. Maybe you don't need to watch Netflix and watch CNN or Fox News or whoever the news is, whatever, any of that stuff. I don't even know a lot of times if it's going to rain until it's raining outside because I don't keep up with it. But be encouraged today, guys. Don't let fear overwhelm you. Don't let anxiety overwhelm you. Don't let stress overwhelm you. You say, well, that's easy to say. Well, the easiest way to do it is to find out the things that are causing the stress and anxiety and remove them from your life. Is it news? Is it worry? Is it concern? Is it fear? What's causing the fear? Work backwards. If you know that fear is causing anxiety, what causes the fear? Okay, well, the news. I'm scared about what's happening in the world. All right, how can you change it? You can't. That's okay. You weren't meant to. It's not a problem. What's next? How can you now get rid of that? Do you have to know what's going on in the Ukraine all the time? Do you have to know what's going on? And it's not to say that you'll never pick it up again. It's to say that you need maybe a break from it because you've allowed that to overwhelm your spirit and overwhelm your heart. And you need a little bit of a time. You need a little bit of break. You can't exercise 24/7, right? You got to have some time for the muscles to recoup. So maybe you pulling away for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Maybe that'll help you. So either way, guys, I love y'all. Hope you have a good day. Make sure to like, subscribe. We're going to continue to push out content. I've been in and out of town a good bit, but we're going to keep trying to push out content each week. So, all right, guys, thank you.